Hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Welcome to my studio. Glad to have you here. If you're here, I imagine it's because you saw in my email the invitation to click and on a link to take you to this recording about a particular painting that was in the email. And guess what? If you look over my left shoulder, right back there on the far wall of my studio, there's that very same painting right there that I'm going to talk to you about. So hang on for a minute, and I'm going to take you on a little adventure to show you how this painting came about. I think it's an interesting story. Okay, here we go. So, this painting, it kind of got started 4 years ago with a different painting. This painting that I'm showing you here is not the same painting. It was based on the same photograph that I took of this young lady, these two photos taken at the Greensboro Coliseum, waiting for the start of a figure skating competition event. So I took these two photos and then back in 2021 made this painting. Fast forward to 2025, and I decided that I wanted to paint her again, but I didn't want to paint her in quite the same way. So, so let's get started. So here's the girl. I just want you to notice a few things about her. First of all, I just love she's got all the trappings of adolescence. You know, she's reading Harry Potter. That's not to say that only adolescents read Harry Potter, but she's reading Harry Potter. See? She's wearing her lovely yellow Pokemon hoodie. She's got her Converse sneakers on. She's just a lovely, lovely adolescent girl, probably in middle school. Do notice for now that her sneakers are blue. There's a reason why I'm pointing that out to you. Okay, let's move on. So, I just want to mention one thing. When I made the painting 4 years ago, I changed the background. Do you see what's behind her? Kind of a boring brick wall. Nothing to me, nothing too interesting here. And I jazzed it up with a bunch of graffiti. So I decided to paint her again, but this time I'm going to take her completely out of the Greensboro Coliseum. I'm going to transport her here from Greensboro to another city in North Carolina called Wilmington, where I took this photo of this front door. I like the dark, sort of muted purple of the front door, and I'm thinking I'd like to put her in front of that door, or at least a chunk of wall that's that color. And I also decided I'm going to invent a story about this girl now. She's not waiting for a figure skating competition, but rather, in my story, she has come home from school, realized that she forgot to pack her house key. She's locked out, and so she's waiting here for mom to come home from work and let her in. Okay, so she's going to be sitting on the top step here. As with virtually all of my paintings, I'm starting this one with a small pencil sketch to figure out where my main shapes are and how big they are, and are they dark or light or in between. So here's my little pencil sketch. I call it a value study. Then I make a careful drawing on my watercolor paper. You might notice that I gave her a bigger backpack than the one that she had the night of the figure skating. And I'm adorning the backpack with some pictures of strawberries and things. Okay, aside from that, I just want to point out, particularly for anybody who's not a watercolor painter, there are places in this drawing that look like they're gray, like the pages on the Harry Potter book and the soles of her Converse sneakers. and her shoelaces and the strawberries. They all look kind of gray. That's because they're covered with something that we call masking fluid, and I paint it on top of the paper, just like regular paint, and it creates an indelible layer that prevents water and pigment from going through it. So I can paint right over the masking fluid and nothing goes through it to the paper below. And then when everything's nice and dry, I can remove the masking fluid. It reveals the nice clean white paper, and then I can leave it white if I want, or I can paint over it. You'll see that in a few minutes. So here's the start of the painting. And I'm starting the painting with three colors only, red and yellow and blue. We refer to those as the three primary colors, red and yellow and blue. Remember I pointed out to you that her sneakers in the photograph are blue? Well, I needed some red, so I changed the sneakers to red. So now I've got red and yellow and blue. I'm also starting to mix those colors just a little bit here and there. So for instance, if you look at this sneaker, you can see that part of it looks a little purplish. That means there's blue in it. Part of it looks a little orangish. That means a little yellow in it. So I'm starting to mix those colors. They're not absolutely pure. Here again on her sweatshirt, I've mixed in a little bit of the red. Down here, I've mixed in a little red and blue to go purple, but I'm still only using three colors, three pigments, red and yellow and blue. And now I've also started to put some color in the background, all the way around the whole background. And guess what I'm using? Once again, red and yellow and blue. Nothing else, nada. That's it. I'm really in a primary color frame of mind for starting this painting and actually for much of it. Now, guess what? I decided I want graffiti in this painting. I know in the photograph from Wilmington, North Carolina, it was a nice, freshly painted, dark purple-ish door. No graffiti in sight, but I decided I really liked the idea of the graffiti. And so what I did here was I drew some graffiti with masking fluid right on top of what was already in the background. So you can see the graffiti looking at like darker gray letters and shapes. They're not going to be gray in the final painting. That's just the color of the masking fluid. Once again, you can still see it right here on the book pages. You can still see it on on the soles of her sneakers. Yep, it's still there. But now I've got some new masking fluid here. And by the way, when I put that graffiti in, I looked through all my photographs. I've got lots of photographs of graffiti. This graffiti happens to be from Havana, Old Havana in Cuba. Okay, so here's the progression of the painting. So now I've started to put some darker colors in her blue jeans, in her shoes, and also on the wall behind her. And you can see that now that I've got the darker colors on the wall, guess what? All that masking fluid looks lighter now. That's because it's surrounded by the darker color, which has not gone through the masking fluid. It's doing its job for me, but you can see it start to pop. And here I've started to remove the masking fluid. So if you look down here in this section of the wall, like right here, not only have I removed the masking fluid, but I've put some yellow pigment onto the revealed light areas. And I chose yellow because I want to repeat the yellow that's in her hoodie. I hope you can see that. I haven't started to put the pigment in here. Maybe this is going to be a little blue. Haven't started. And up here, I haven't removed it yet. As I finish this painting, I'm going to gradually remove the masking fluid in one place, then another place, then another place. and I'll add color back in or leave it white. Look, here are the book pages revealed as white because I've taken the masking fluid off there. And here's the final painting with lots of adjustments, of course. You can see that I've added lots of color back into the graffiti, reds and blues and yellows. It's all there. Um, and I added color into the strawberries and everywhere I needed it. So here you have it. The final painting, I'm calling it Lost at Hogwarts in honor of Harry Potter. And I hope that when you or anyone looks at this painting, they're going to be intrigued by the story. They're going to wonder, who is this girl? And why is she sitting there reading? And which Harry Potter novel is she reading? You know, there's all kinds of things to wonder. And I'm just hoping that I'm going to create that sense of wonder and interest in my viewer, hopefully in you.